Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video leading up to the 11th episode for The Walking Dead Season 8. In this one, we're going to give our thoughts on the theory that Jadis is the helicopter pilot. And spoiler warning, as per usual, if you guys have not seen the second episode for this second half of The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 10. So this is going into Episode 11 after we just saw the junkyard get absolutely massacred, annihilated, with the only one left there alive being Jadis. This one was a pretty good question that was brought up, something that we haven't really discussed too much so far, and I thought it was good enough for us to go ahead and start this video with, which is the question of the conversation that she's having with Simon right before Simon decides that he's not feeling remorse, or he just doesn't like her, or he's just pissed off to the point where Simon has reached his breaking point and he decides that he's going to basically kill everybody, and he shoots two of her closest people right away, and then of course afterwards she fights back, and then he is embarrassed in front of everybody, so he just loses it, so he decides to kill everybody. And that's of course what the group does. But just before that, he's asking her some questions about the helicopter pad, which is something that we've seen before and I've done videos on in the past, as well as the solar panels and that, trying to get some information from her, probably to see if what Negan is saying with regards to the junkyard group makes sense, so the garbage people, and whether or not they're going to be useful. As he's kind of asking about it, she's being a bit snarky with him and saying that it was a dump, kind of laughing, and then he, of course, is not seeing the humor in it, or her being kind of rude and kind of overly obvious, kind of making him sound stupid for asking, and kind of the way that they do, which is, it's a bit frustrating to talk to, or at least it was frustrating to talk to the junkyard group, because they don't say a whole lot. They're very restrictive with the words they say, and it's tough to get any information out of them, which is something that Scott Kimball's talked about in Talking Dead with regards to kind of their whole deal. Their strategy is not to say too much because they don't want to give up any information. So it comes into play like, okay, do they have something that they're hiding? Do they actually have something more there? We have seen the helicopter around when Rick was in the vicinity just before he went to the junkyard group there earlier on this season in the first half. And so it kind of brought up the question that we've discussed quite a bit this season: is the helicopter from the junkyard? It seemed like it was relatively close by to it, and will we see it again this season? Got some pretty cool theories there. So the first one's from Bill23799, who says, I predict we will find the dump was built on top of a USAF ICBM bunker. This would explain the Heli-Pad and the solar panels located there. We will discover Jadis is a trained chopper pilot, and when Rick and his people are about to be defeated, Jadis shows up and destroys Negan's forces led by Simon with a devastating air-to-ground missile attack. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So that's a pretty wicked prediction there, Bill. Nice one on that one. I could definitely see that. That sounds really cool, and I hope you're right. You know what I mean? Like, I hope that you're right about that one, and that Jadis is the helicopter pilot, and she just was holding it back from Simon, not telling him. And as a result, we've seen, well, she held back all the information. She got a little bit rude to him, and so one thing led to another. Everything spun out of control. He was going to kill one anyway, or probably two anyway. But when she upset him, or when she was a bit snarky with him, he annihilated everybody afterwards, especially after she punched him and everything, because it just got totally out of control. And oh man, really, really bad. So. Yeah, and then Lenny DellaRocca says Jadis is the helicopter pilot. So it's cool, man. It's a cool idea, and it's true that always has kind of been something that's been lingering. It's something that he mentions just before this happens. So it's it's pretty important if they have the ability to fly a helicopter. I mean, that's going to be very useful for fast transport, for who knows, whatever else you can use it for, like saying here, maybe as a weapon, like as an assault weapon. But I just don't know. But I do think that one way or another, Rick may regret not helping her, because I do think that she is probably useful, and it's somebody who, she doesn't have a group anymore. Her whole group has been killed, destroyed. So I'm actually pretty surprised in this episode by Rick's decision not to help her. I know Carl just died and everything, and he's not in the mood right now. But I would think that that he'd be like, okay, fine, whatever, come on, let's go. So even if he didn't want to, he would let her come with him. So, but maybe he's just upset because she lost everybody and he needed those people for All Out War here. So, it's a good question. But I really like the theory. I really like the idea because it is right now open. We don't know what they're going to do with Jadis. I did a video yesterday on the possibility of Jadis being Alpha. And so, a lot of possibilities here. I hope we see the helicopter again. I hope she is the helicopter pilot, and that's why she was kind of being defensive when Simon was asking her about it, because she didn't want to let him know that she actually has that ability to do that, and maybe it could be something that could play a role in All Out War and come in the finale. The only reason why I'm skeptical about your prediction, Bill, and it is a good prediction, is just that I think that it would probably be pretty difficult to film as part of the war to see a helicopter come in and be used for any kind of assault really at all. Would be kind of a little bit tricky for them to do. Also because, they only have so much of a budget. Usually they're pretty controlling with regards to expenses. And we have seen a tank. We have seen a few other things as the seasons have been going through. It would be really cool to see a helicopter because that's something we've never seen before. And I hope you're right. I hope that's what it is. And if you are right, you can definitely call it out in the comments at the end of the season. If all of a sudden in the finale we see, Jadis flying in a helicopter and, I don't know, bombing or doing missile, attacking Simon and blowing him into pieces or something, which would definitely feel fitting, I think, as part of the finale, or even the episode before the finale. That would be really, really cool. But it might be asking a little bit much because this is The Walking Dead, and I think that if it was a movie, for sure, I would expect to see that. Walking Dead, I don't usually expect to see, helicopter missile attacks, but we'll see. You never know. And, it always did feel like they were protecting something that we didn't know about them. So maybe that's it. Maybe you got it. Maybe that's what it is. And that's why they don't say a whole lot. It's because they actually they do have some stuff to kind of keep secret. And if the other groups might know what they have and what they can do, they may take advantage of it. So interesting story, interesting theory. You guys can write your comments. Let me know what you think about that one below. Whether or not you think Jadis may in fact be the helicopter pilot that we saw piloting that helicopter earlier on this season. There's not a whole lot of options. If it was someone from the Junkyard group, it was probably her, because if we're going to see it again, used again, then most likely it would have been her, because everybody else is dead. So if they're still going to use it in the story, they don't have a whole lot of options left as far as the survivors of the Junkyard go. And the next one is from Gennaro, who says, Trev, I feel like you dislike the good episodes and love the bad ones. I thought this one was awesome. Felt like the old Walking Dead. I hope you don't get mad at me for saying that. I've been a fan since season 2. And no, I'm not mad at anybody for saying that. And it is a bit strange to me. But, again, the thing is with the way I do my channel, I'm not somebody who is afraid, in my channel to give an honest review of how I felt about each episode all the way through the series. Every episode series, I've reviewed every episode, even more than once for a lot of them, with throwback reviews and that seasons later. So I've reviewed every episode of The Walking Dead in the series, all 108 or whatever we're at now, 9 or whatever episodes of the series. I've reviewed every single one. Every review is in the channel for every episode. You can check out some older ones if you want to hear my thoughts on any particular episode of the series, and that's what it is. But yeah, this is the thing, right? Is that everybody has their own taste. For someone to say, because this is subjective, this is entertainment, right? So, it's hard to be objective about. You can't really do it, because it's entertainment. It's like, well, were you entertained? Did you enjoy it? And the way I kind of do my reviews and try to score it, I look at everything in the episode. I look at my enjoyment. Emotionally is a huge thing about how I felt about it, and then I also look at it and say, like, could they have done some things better? Were there some things that did they cut out? Like in this one, for example, they cut out the most, what I thought was the most pivotal point in the whole episode, which is the firing squad scene. We pretty much see it zoom in on Simon and for him to give the command to light it up, and we don't see anything, other than that. And I felt like that right there is the climactical. That's the climax. That's the biggest part of the episode that you want to see focused on, and could have been done in such a way. It was still tragic and it was still huge the way they did it. So I'm not really saying that I didn't like the episode because of the writing. I thought the writing was great for the episode, especially with everything that happened there at the Junkyard Group was pretty unexpected if you never saw any of the trailers or anything and you had no idea from previous trailers or breakdowns or whatever. So, but the the thing that took it away from me was some of the way they did like the zooms. I'm not a big fan of those at the beginning of the episode. You know, it was exciting and everything, the way they kind of did it and everything, but I'm never really a fan of that. That always kind of takes it away from me. I didn't like the stuff at the ocean side. I felt like it felt unnatural. It didn't make sense to me. Like Enid's position to me didn't make sense. You just kill the group's leader, and you know, I don't know. The whole thing felt so weird for me, the ocean side. But with regards to kind of the score and the way I went with the episode, it's because they didn't show that scene where, you know, they showed it right up to the point where he gives everyone the order to shoot, but they didn't actually show the shooting. And yes, it would have been pretty brutal because there's some youngins around. But if it happened in the show, you should show it to us in some way. I don't know. You know, I don't know. It's kind of tricky for me. But, you know, I do my reviews honestly. I can assure you of that. And pretty much everyone has their own tastes. For some people, you know, and this is something that going into season 9 with a big change in the show with a different showrunner, we're really going to have to see how people respond to this one, because for some people, if they love the episodes that Angela Kang has done as writer with her becoming showrunner, probably going to have a much more different feel for the show. Some people may absolutely love season 9 and love the future seasons. A lot of people said this one felt like an old Walking Dead episode, and that's cool. I'm glad you got that vibe from it. For me, I certainly didn't get that vibe that it felt like an old episode of Walking Dead. You know, I'm trying to think like what you kind of mean by that. Yeah, I guess I don't really get that vibe. It feels like the episodes that she's done throughout the series, I want to say. But yeah, everybody has their own tastes, and for some people, they, you know, I mean, everyone has their own favorite episodes. There's no, it's hard to say that one episode is the absolute best episode in the whole series. You know, it's, I do top 5s, top 10 best episodes, but it's, you know, it's subjective too, right? Like what you like, what type of genre you're interested in. Do you watch Walking Dead for the horror? Are you a big horror person? You love horror? Are you like me, you like a lot of action, you know, which is something that's big on me, that's big on the psychology. That's something else for me that's big. Do you watch it for the relationships between the characters, the character dynamics? You know, do you watch it, who knows, for whatever reason, whichever genre you kind of like the most out of the drama or whatever. It's, everyone has their own tastes, so that's what it is. And for me, I mean, that's the way I do my reviews, is honestly and openly with you guys. And it's okay if we don't agree. It's okay if you thought it was the best episode they've done all season. That's cool. You know, no problem with that at all. It's just, it's a subjective thing, and I try to make it as objective as I can, but it isn't really. You know, everyone has their own favorite characters from the show, and of course, if certain characters are your favorites, if you have an episode where you have a lot of your favorite characters in it, you're probably going to like that episode better than if you have an episode with Tara from season 7, which I thought was a pretty good episode by itself, but a lot of people they couldn't even watch it. They thought it was so bad. So everyone has their own opinion, and that's cool, and it'll be interesting and something to pay attention to going into season 9 a lot more, how people feel about the new direction of the show, and you know, how they're liking that or not. You know, it's we're going to have to see. But one thing that's positive is that I don't see a lot of complaining after this episode. It seems like a lot of people enjoyed this episode a lot, which is good. Certainly to instill Simon as a super badass. I love what it did for Simon in this episode. I mean, because he's not listening to Negan, and then even when he gets back, he's kind of being confrontational a little bit with Negan when Rick is calling and that kind of thing. You know, Simon's just totally like he's absurding, or it looks like he's ready to, you know, to totally disrespect or disregard what Negan is saying, and possibly even stick with that position, feeling like he was right for doing so, which just seems like what we're seeing here. He just doesn't want Negan to find out. So will he make a move on Negan, try to take him out or something? Oh man, it's really exciting to see what they're going to do with Simon for sure. TriBeCa's Finest says, am I the only one that noticed that Simon tells Jadis, what do you have here with a helicopter pad? Love to know your thoughts on that one. So yeah, I think it is interesting, and I think maybe you guys are right. Maybe we will see her flying the helicopter. We're going to have to see how that goes. I don't know what else they're going to do with her, so I don't think it fits for Alpha or Whispers or anything like that. So we'll see, man. But either way, you definitely got a feel for Jadis right now. Maybe she is, and maybe she has more tricks up her sleeve that we just haven't seen yet. So, yeah, we'll have to see. Debbie Chipman says, this is the third group Simon has killed. Likely the Oceanside's men and boys, the library group, and now the junkyard. I really don't think he's making it out of this season alive. So that's a good death prediction probably for the end of the season, that Simon is probably worse than Negan. And man, it's been really cool how they've kind of added this character of Simon in, built him up, and now we've seen kind of a huge episode for him where he's just done something very, very villainous and brutal. And now we're going to have to see what happens after that, and if Negan finds out, what is he going to do? Is he going to make an example out of Simon for stepping up to him? Are they going to somehow throw down? Is he going to make an attempt to take Negan out? It sure seems like he's thinking about it right now, because he totally disagrees with what Negan is doing. So, yeah, man, it's good stuff. And I guess we'll do 2 more. Charles Scala says, "Damn, Trev, seems like everyone thinks this episode was better than you rated it," which is a first. Normally everyone is trashing it, and you're giving it a 9.5. Again, everybody has their own tastes. So, you know, I mean, there's certain episodes, it's happened before. There was a lot of people who thought Still was a good episode, and it's my least favorite. It's the episode I hate the most out of The Walking Dead they've ever done. There's people that thought, what episode? The Governor episodes from season 4. They hated those. And I love those. I thought they were great, you know, really good to see. But again, I like to see villains develop in that too. So that's one of the things I liked a lot about this episode, was to see Simon develop in this way and make this decision here, which was crazy. So that was pretty big. But yeah, everyone's different. And, you know, I mean, that's just kind of, you know, how it goes. You know, you might like this episode a lot. It might be your favorite episode of the season. For me, I thought it was good. I didn't think it certainly wasn't bad. You know, it was a good episode and everything, but it wasn't my favorite of the season. And I wasn't as emotionally impacted as I was in last episode, the mid-season premiere. Savage Elite 89 says, Jadis is going to use her comrade's waist to paint her body, maybe a step in the Whisperer arc. So different predictions here. We'll have to see what they end up doing, and of course, if any of you guys are right, you can you know, write a comment after. Last one, let's do this. Last final one. Bewolf20 says, I want to know what Carl wrote to Negan. I hope we get it, or hope we get to see it. I'm sure we will. They'll probably have extended episode for the finale or something. I don't know. But I'm sure we'll get to see what Carl had to write to Negan. And I also think that these last few episodes have certainly humanized Negan quite a bit and really brought him back, so the audience probably does not hate him as much as they might have before. And I can't wait to see, you know, if he's able to read that letter that Carl wrote for him. And it's cool to hear him talk about Carl and how he's like made for this world, he's perfect for this world, and then he finds out he's dead. And it's like, oh man, I guess nobody's really perfect for this world. So that's what it is. So yeah, Negan's one of my favorite characters in the series. Simon stepping up as a brutal villain this episode. Really cool. So there's lots to love in the episode too, as well, for sure. That'll be it for today's video, guys. Let me know what you think about Jadis. Which theory do you like the best? Do you think she's going to become a totally new type of villain? Do you think that she'll be an ally as a helicopter pilot? Do you think they'll go with kind of a Whisperer arc for her with the ground up zombie parts, meat, disgusting flesh or whatever? Do some creative art with that, or build her own super zombie walker suit or something. I don't know. Maybe recruit an army of super zombies that she can soup up with, you know, armor and stuff. That'll be it for today's video, guys. If you liked it, please like it. Please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate it. And you can do it. You can subscribe at the bottom. That's it for this one. See you guys again soon for another. It's Trev. I'm saying peace. See you guys soon.